Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'll be showing you how to replace a door slab today, including mortising for new hinges and boring the hole for a new door handle. So the first thing I do is take a sharp utility knife and break the paint seal between the jamb and the hinge. If you don't do that, you'll get some splitting and tear out on the door jamb when you take the hinges out. So don't want to do that, obviously. I had some masking tape around the perimeter as an extra safeguard, but you don't have to do that. Then you unscrew the hinges from the door jamb and remove the door and keep the hinges on the door. So I like to set up horses and lay the new slab down first. Here I have the top of the door to my left, or as you're watching, your right. And then I take the old slab and lay it on top of the new one, lining up the top and the hinge side with each other, with the hinges facing up, and just making sure that the old door is facing the same direction as the new slab, obviously. Now you can see you've got the top and the sides lined up, and the hinges are facing up. And you can see the old door was cut down quite a bit. There must have been some pretty heavy shag carpet at one point, but I will not need to be trimming the door down to that length. I won't be don't need to trim it at all. But if you did, you would just make a mark there, obviously, to match the height of the old door. And then if the old slab is a little bit thinner width-wise than the new slab, then you just make a mark there, as I'm doing here, and then also marking the old knob location. So then I transfer the hinge locations to the new slab with a pencil and combination square. You can use a speed square or a ruler just as easily. So you're just marking the hinge location top and bottom. And here I'm just, as I mentioned, marking the location of the doorknob. This isn't super critical, as sometimes you have to make adjustments, but it gives you a starting point anyway. So now that I have everything marked, it's time for the hinge template. I've put a link in the description for all the templates that I'm using in this video. This jig includes the router bit that you need. It's super easy to use and can be adjusted for different size hinges or square hinges. So once you've got it clamped down on your lines, you just need to go and adjust the router depth to take off material equal to the depth of the hinge so that the hinge lies flush with the slab. So there you saw my pencil marks, and then you just line up the jig with the marks, clamp it down. And then just remove the material. Okay, so now we're ready to install the new hinges. Make sure the hinge pin top is facing towards the top of the door and that it's operating just like the old hinge. That's why I like to have the slab on top right there so you can make sure that the mode of operation is exactly the same. And next, this is really key to a good install. Pick up a self-centering hinge drill bit. If you don't, you'll run the risk of the bit wandering and having the holes off-center a little bit, and then the hinge wanders a little bit. And so, yeah, of course, I've added a link to this tool in the description as well. So again, just showing that you need to make sure you're got the hinge oriented correctly, and you can use the old door as reference. Put it in place, and that self-centering drill bit is really key. So then you can go ahead and secure the hinges to the slab. Just make sure you don't over tighten, as the screws are not that big and it's easy to strip them out. But you can see how the holes are just dead nuts straight in the middle of the hole. Makes it easy for the hinge install. Alright, at this point I stand the door up and I take my power planer to remove material down to that pencil line to match the door width. You may not have to do this at all. Your door widths may be exactly the same, and if that's the case, then you can just disregard this. I had to take a few passes to get down to the pencil line, but it's very, very simple to do. If you do have to plane it down, you'll just want to hand sand the edges to round over those edges just a little bit before you paint. Okay, so now it's time for a temporary door install and test fit. A second set of hands is probably helpful here. I have a method for doing it solo, but it's sort of hard to explain. But start with the top hinge and just drive in one screw, the center one, not too tight, and then go to the bottom and do one, and then you can go back and install the remaining screws. Just checking for operation. And here I'm checking, so the house settled a little bit, so the handle latch did not line up quite right with the strike plate. So I'm just making note of that so that I can adjust the circle location for the knob I'll be drilling later on. And as luck would have it, my battery died, so I had to continue the video on the next day with a different door. But you can see that this whole location's lined up pretty well with the latch plate on this door, so not much of an adjustment. And at this point you can remove the hinge pins and remove the door. Okay, so back down at the sawhorses, and here's my doorknob jig coming up. And again, I've got a link in the description for this. So just line it up and start in with the hole saw. It's a 2 1/8 inch hole saw. Um, and as you get going, you just want to start to feel for the pilot bit to come through the other side. And at that point, you'll want to stop and flip the door. Because if you bore the whole way through from one side, the hole saw will, you'll get some fair amount of tear out. So just wait for that pilot bit to get through to the other side, and then you can flip and put the pilot bit in the pilot bit hole that you made and finish off the hole. I think you can see the pilot bit hole there. So I flip it over. I'm just finishing up the hole from the back side. And then now it's time to flip the door back over and grab the jig again to locate and drill for the latch mechanism. So the latch mechanism and the doorknob hole are in the same jig. And this is a 1-inch drill bit. And just like with the hole, the jig I just use to get it started, then you can take it out. It's a lot easier to drill it once you have it started without the jig in the way. So then you're going to grab the latch mounting and mortising jig to finish up. I've got the link again in the description for this tool. And this works just like the hinge jig. Just set the bit depth equal to the depth of the latch plate so that the latch plate sits flush with the door. And then same thing, just remove the material. I probably make a lot more passes than you need to, but just err on the side of caution. Make sure you've removed all the material. So there you go. Okay, so at this point you can install the door and check for operation and alignment. I'm not showing the door knob installation as I removed all the doors after I did all the hinges and knobs and painted them first before putting the knobs on. Obviously a lot easier that way. I suppose I could do another video on that. But any questions, leave them in the comments, and as always, appreciate you watching. If you found value in this video, hit that like button, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.